And what a lovely time it is to be with you in this wonderful midweek, our casual Wednesday pick-me-up, so to speak. I always look forward to our times together in virtual community. Actually, I'm getting quite used to it now, and people say to me, well, isn't it strange talking to an empty room? Well, first and foremostly, I'm not talking to an empty room at all. This room seems pretty darn full to me. It's full of your beautiful energy and also the energy that lingers from all of that prayerfulness over the eons of time that we've been gathering here together as a spiritual community. So welcome, and I trust that your day is off to a very good start because I'm knowing you decided it was going to be off to a very good start, because that's what it truly takes for us to celebrate life in a way that's vibrant and rich and alive, with that sense and sensibility of what a gift it is to wake up into a new day. It truly is. It's energizing enough just to have that thought. And the beauty and grace of what you are and what I am is that you and I have a power within us that we can draw from and direct our mindset into, so that we can choose the kind of life we're going to live every single moment of every single day. And we may have to recommit to that throughout the day, but it is our ability to do so. So speaking about that power now, please join me in a conscious connection with it. And when we are most powerful, when we are vibing at the level of a higher conscious awareness, is when you and I are able to still ourselves, able to silence ourselves, able to be open in receptivity to that divine guidance that's always available to us if we could just listen. And that's where the silence comes in, because silence is the ultimate power. It truly is. And you and I won't know it until we give it an opportunity to see for ourselves. And that is why very often I will invite us all to take a conscious, connected breath and be still and be quiet, and to allow all the fidgeting mind to come to rest and the fidgeting body to be still, so that I can know, so that you can know something so much sweeter, so much more awesome than anything I could know in the outer world. So that's the opportunity for you in this moment now, and it's the same opportunity for me. So I will just take some conscious connected breaths. I'm going to say a few words, and when I do, we're going to go into a couple of moments silence, so that you in your own state and space can be still and listen and listen and listen. Because out of the silence, inspiration dawns, imagination awakens up, and a wonderful thought may come to you. And as it does, if it is a wonderful thought, we just own it, let it settle into us, and then it impresses itself at the superconscious level of awareness, and then it becomes our experience. Did you know that that's what you could be experiencing in quiet moments, as can I? So let's know that that's what we are about to do and be right now. So again, I invite us all to take a conscious breath. And if you come on and you see me with my eyes closed, it's because I don't know how to do this any other way except closing my eyes, so that I cannot be distracted by anything from the outer world, and allow myself to see with the sight of the inner eye, the inner vision. And I find that every time I close my eyes, the first thing I see is light. Just light, nothing else, just light. And then the endeavor is to still the body, still the mind, and just listen with the idea in mind of I'm in my divine nature now, and divine nature is all that I'm being right now. And as such, I am creating an open receptivity to divine wisdom and guidance to move through all that I am in consciousness and establish as an impression upon the superconscious awareness of being whatever good that shows up. And all I have to do is recognize it, acknowledge it, and become one with it. And so I am still, I am silent, so that I can know. And God so loved the world that it made it possible to shine that love through every mind and heart, to encompass all of creation and unify it and recover it and heal it and cause it to vibrate only in that super conscious awareness of life and light and love. This is established now in divine mind, divine heart, in all of creation as it moves out into vibration and does its blessed work of unifying, harmonizing, and creating a oneness. As I in deep gratitude know it is so and state it as such, and so it is. And so it is. Now, of course, the longer we stay in that kind of energy, the more potent and powerful the energy that we send forth and the energy that we attract. Because what we send out, we attract. You know, thought is not only powerful, and it's not only an energy that moves through all of life, but it's a magnetic energy. Magnetic. It sucks back into itself more of itself, whatever it is that has been sent out. Which brings me to the contemplation early on this morning of mind, of consciousness, and the realization that the greatest of all our gifts, your gifts and my gifts, the greatest of all of them is the gift of awareness. Awareness that I should be awake enough to understand a little bit more fully what consciousness is all about. And you know, consciousness is life, consciousness is living, life is consciousness. But there are several elements of consciousness that you and I need to be on the inside of and understand how it all works together. So if I was to describe consciousness, I would say consciousness exists at the subconscious level of awareness, at the conscious level of awareness, at the superconscious level of awareness, and it also exists as unconsciousness. So there's 4 elements that you can look at when you're looking at the one thing called consciousness. So let's look at, very briefly, subconsciousness. Subconsciousness is that inner awareness. It's that vast spaciousness within us all that contains all memory of humanity, all of humanity and all of creation since the incipiency of creation, and your personal arsenal of memories too. And from it, you and I can intuit several things, different things at different times. It can also warn us. It can also enlighten us. It can also guide us. And maybe, just maybe, from maybe the mistakes that we have made or humanity has made in the past, maybe the guidance will come through from that, say, nah, I don't think so. That wouldn't be the way to go, whatever. I'll bring through a new idea or whatever. So it's a vast field of energy within energy. And then there's consciousness. Well, consciousness is where you and I usually hang out the most. It's what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what's going on, our decisions, our choices, our thoughts, our feelings, all of that. That's at the conscious level. And then there's super consciousness, which is where you and I would like to hang out much more. And super consciousness is this vastest of all fields, unlimited fields of creative energy and power that is just ready and available to you and to me to imprint something upon it so that it can move upon what we imprint and bring it into being. It is awesome. It is the divine substance out of which everything flows. Awesome. And you and I have the power to move upon it and impress it from our conscious sense of awareness. Each and every one of these aspects could keep us going for a year at least. But that's it in a nutshell. And then there's the unconscious part of us, things that happen unconsciously that we don't even have to even be aware of, like everything that's going on, the body systems and so on and so forth, etc. There's a lot of unconsciousness that you and I are in and out of all of the time. So the key to this, what I'm sharing with you, is to be very aware of consciousness, because it is within consciousness that you and I can use our gift of awareness. Use our gift of awareness. So what has this got to do with everything that's going on in your life today, and my life today, and in the world in general today, and in creation in general? Everything. It has everything to do with it. If I want to change anything, the best way to change it is through being aware that I have the gift and the power to impress superconscious mind, the godly mind, the divine mind itself, in ways that can be an assistance, that can be affirming life, that can be changing life for the better, changing life for the better. And I want to focus on personal power right now, because having gone through 3 months of, out of necessity, having to be super cautious about where we put ourselves, our physicality, and for so very many people having to isolate, if you like, or I like to call it sequester ourselves myself. I don't like the term isolation because I don't feel that says what this is. I see it as sequestering, like having a long retreat. Now, you know we talk about prayer as treatment work, so we have to keep retreating and retreating and retreating and retreating until we manifest the good that we desire. So I see it as such, and it has given us an opportunity to have that time of quietude, that time of silence, that time of being still so that we can know something better, something greater than everything that's happening out in the world, and to understand a little bit more fully what it means, the scripture verse means when it says, that which is within you is greater than that which is in the world. And it's true that means that no person, place, thing, condition, situation can have any power at all over me from outside of myself if I don't give it that power, if I don't allow that power to overtake me. That means that within me, there is a power that is omnipresent, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipotent, all-powerful, and it's right where I am. And it's more powerful than anything out there. Any human construct, any human experience. It's more powerful than that. And I think we need to truly and really begin to root ourselves in this awareness now and stop feeling so helpless and so hopeless. We're not. I am not living my life. You are not living your life. You are life itself. I am life itself. This is what the teaching is. All ancient wisdom ever made new says the same thing. You are more than living. You are life itself. You are more than being strong. Your strength itself. You are more than being wise. You are wisdom itself. You are more than loving. You are love itself. You see? And it goes on and on and on. And until you and I can identify ourselves with our truth, we're always going to be stopped and blocked and living in a box, never managing to break out of that box that's full of human constraints and that sense of humanity and its weakness rather than humanity and its divine power, you see. That's where you and I need to emerge from as a result of this sequestered experience that we're all having. That's where we could emerge from and into. That understanding and that awareness that there are no accidents and nothing happens accidentally. Everything is on purpose. So are you finding the purpose in all of this for yourself? Are you finding the deeper meaning in all of this for yourself? It's the ideal opportunity, and if not now, I mean, when? Because now is always now, and now is the only time you and I can accomplish anything. So in a sense, we've been given the opportunity to really live in daily life and living and really ponder our daily bread and be sufficient with our daily bread, knowing that our daily bread is always enough. And not only is it enough, but there's enough left over, like the 12 baskets from the miracle of feeding the 5,000 with, 2 barley loaves and 5 fish. They had 12 baskets left over after that. You and I, if we take our daily bread, for example, we bless our daily bread, no matter how big and small the loaf is, it doesn't matter. Even if we're left with crumbs, if we take those crumbs, bless those crumbs and know they are enough, they are sufficient for the day. They will be, and they will turn out to be more than you maybe thought they would be. So it's all in the now moment, your power and my power, for anything, whatever the thought is. There's such a thing as homeostasis in the human being. It's that kind of mechanism within us all, within the body and so on, that just keeps it all going and so on and so forth, etc., without you having to worry too much about it. But very often, the homeostasis in a human being, you can look it up yourself, the homeostasis in a human being gets stuck at a level of negativity and keeps us stuck at a level of negativity. And here's the thing. You and I can change like that. It's not difficult. Everybody thinks change is difficult. Well, it's not. And the reason why you and I don't change just like that is because we don't want to. That's why. Basically, we don't want to change. We're just married to the familiar. It is what it is, sort of thing. We have to snap out of that. I read in a book once upon a time, for example, when you're feeling angry and so on and so forth, it suggested, tell yourself a joke in the midst of your anger. Tell yourself a joke or remember something very funny that made you laugh a lot. And you can't help but have an impish smile on your face when you do. And then you begin to think about that rather than be present to your anger. And then your anger dissipates itself. Well, don't take anyone's word for it. I didn't. I just tried it out. And you know what? It worked for me. It worked for me. Or maybe when you and I are feeling helpless and hopeless, we could stop and remember a time when we weren't helpless and hopeless. Or even remember the teaching, you know? There is no helplessness and hopelessness in the divine. None whatsoever. And that's where I am supposed to be in divinity. But again, we're married to our human constraints and our human constructions of all kinds of abnormalities. We're married to our humanity because we're over-identified with it. We can't think in any other way, but yes, we can. How many times does anybody go around thinking throughout their day, well, you know what? There's a divinity flowing through me. It's much more powerful than my humanity, and I can draw from that to handle this situation, whatever the situation is. I could send that energy before me and prepare the way and make the rough way smooth and the crooked way straight. I could. I'm told I could. I don't know why I'm resisting doing that. I mean, how many times have we to be told the power is with us? And not just the power, all power. The almighty, omniscient power of the Creator is right where you are and right where I am. We are in its image and in its likeness. And you know what the image and likeness is? It's our power of imagination. It's our power of creation. You and I can imagine and create just as the divine did when all of creation came into being. That's how the image, the likeness, and the nature of our Creator. In our power of creativity, we can create. We're the only species on this plane that has the power of choice. We are at choice. We are at will. And we can change any situation we may be in. We can do that by being still, silent, and knowing the divine aspect of being that is living and moving and having its being in you and in me. But try and believe that with faith. The faith that goes beyond belief. The faith that is strong and holds strongly to what I know to be, what I desire, the good that I desire. What I know is that that desire first desired to express itself through me, or I wouldn't desire it. And I hold firm to that desire coming into my experience when especially there's not a shred of evidence to suggest it. Faith doesn't look for evidence. And faith doesn't look for signs. In faith and from faith and through faith, the signs come afterwards, not before. Not before. So, where are you, my dear ones? Where are you right now in what you're allowing yourself to think, in what you're allowing yourself to feel? What is that doing for you? How is that showing up in your life? Because you are a creative center of power, and the power is with you. And it's not just with you, you are the power. You are the power over your own life, unless you hand it over to persons, places, and things, and you allow something from outside of yourself to make your decisions for you, to decide what is best for you. You need not decide what is best for you as a human being if you can get quiet and still and go into your divinity, and it'll all be made very clear to you. But for that to happen, I can tell you, there's no other way but you and I sitting ourselves in silence every single day of our lives, at some part of the day at least, to begin with, and allow that divine inspiration to flow up through us and out from us and materialize in the form of some kind of good, without the shadow of a doubt in it. That's your power. It's my power. And so I especially speak to anybody who may be listening in who's not feeling great just now, who's wondering now if things will ever be better, or if I'll be ever better, or can I be ever different? Can I ever change? Yes, you can. So can I. Actually, we're changing all the time, and most of the time we don't even know it. We are in and out of our thoughts and feelings like yo-yos. Like yo-yos. That's where awareness comes in. I'll go back to the gift of awareness. Are you really aware of what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're feeling, who you're showing up as? How do you want to show up? I mean, who would you like other people to meet when they meet you? What do you think they would like to meet in you, see in you, feel from you? It's a good question to ask ourselves. It truly is. And there's no rest, there's no peace, there's no whole health until you and I give up our resentments, our biases, our bigotries, our envy, our jealousy, our lust for gathering and collecting and hoarding and everything else. That is just so much clutter that really stops and blocks the flow of divine grace, energy, and the true essence of our being. And people wonder why that their treatments are not working and their prayers not heard and so on. And the question is, well, how are you showing up? Are you kind? Are you considerate? Are you patient? Are you loving? Are you caring? That's the reason. And you and I can enter into all of the spiritual practices we might be able to think of. We may be able to sit in a pretzel position for hours and om and do all the rest of it and rattle our beads and read our books and so on and so forth. But if we have not love, we are told we are nothing. We are nothing. We can give our lives up, we're told in the scriptures. But if we have not love, it's an empty gesture. So, the question for you and for me today is, who the heck do we want to be? How the heck do we want to show up? Who would we like people to meet when they meet us? Would I be happy meeting myself today? You ask yourself the question. I often do. Would I be happy in my own company today with somebody else? It's not always a big yes, I can tell you that. So there's a good reason to sequester myself until I come to my senses again. and wake up in awareness again. And you know what? The good news is we can. It doesn't matter what state or condition we have managed to get ourselves into, no matter how belligerent we have become, no matter how angry we have become, no matter how thoughtless we have become, that can change like that. It truly can. It really, really can. But you have to make yourself your own experiment to prove that to yourself. You have to become your own spiritual laboratory. You can't take anybody's word for it. You can't go by what anything is said outside of yourself. It's what is said inside of yourself that counts the most. And what is said inside of yourself may cancel out all the good you're hearing about yourself because you're not believing it. You're saying, if only they knew. If only they knew what an imposter I am. If only they knew. Well, let's know something new and different for ourselves, and let's know the same new and different thing for the people we meet. Let's meet the people like we see them as they are, in all their glory and divinity. Let's see them as that namaste we're so liberal with when we namaste each other. Would, my prayers always, would that I could feel and the other person could feel what namaste is all about when that word is uttered. Would that it would indeed be the light in me greeting the light in you, and the light in you greeting the light in me in truth. Because that's what it means. See how amazing you are? See how brilliant you are? See how awesome you are? How unique you are? And what a beautiful tone you are in the orchestra of life. And we need each other to be that perfect tone for it all to work in harmony and unity and oneness and give us that beautiful resonance that only that can bring to us. I know our work is cut out for us, but we're well able for it. We're equal to it. And remember, we're not doing any of this on our own. Come to me, all you who are labored and are burdened, and I will give you rest. I will refresh you. Come, give me up. Give all of your cares and worries and woes up to me, and I will return them all to the nothingness from whence they came, says the great I am. In you, not from anywhere else, but from within you. From within you. Well, if we are the tabernacle of the Most High, do you know what a tabernacle is? It houses the divinity of life, is what a tabernacle does. It houses the divinity of life. Would you mind opening your tabernacle door, and I will try and do so too, and let the light out? Because as tabernacles, we're bursting with the desire to open that door and release, and merge and mingle and become one with all of life. Yes, you are the tabernacle of the Most High. You are indeed the spot where God shows up. Can you believe that? You're the point of its power where divinity shows up and shines through. If you come into accommodation with it, if you come into partnership with it, if you allow the flow to pass through you, and you take away all the stops and all the blocks that might prevent that, whether they be any kind of negativity in mind, in feeling, in action. Remove all the negativity, and that light pours through. That light pours out. For you, every day, extraordinary everyday person, and me too. It's not just available for the few enlightened ones, whoever they are. It's available to every single person that arrives on this plane. no matter into what conditions they may come. Every single one of us is endowed with the essence and presence of the Creator of it all. And each and every one of us is holy ground. And the ground we stand on is holy ground. And life is meant to be fully lived by means of you and by means of me. So let us stop selling ourselves short. Let us stop being so small-minded. Let us open up and be all that we can be. And remember this, my dear ones. You have a whole spiritual community backing you up, holding you in mind and heart, prayerfully backing you up, here to serve you in any way we can. You are not alone. And apart from that, you're enclosed in the eternal, continuous, everlasting embrace of divinity itself. And your small body, no matter how large it is, your small body is enclosed in it. It is a body within bodies of great light, great energy, great love. So when you do pray, see yourself surrounded by that love energy that will not let you go. See the love energy from that surrounding ethereal body flowing through your heart chakra, filling up every bit of you from that energy, and from the heart of the divine pouring through your heart, your energy of light going out in every direction, healing and mending and fixing and assisting the divine providence that desires good and only good for us all. That's what you could be thinking about, you know. So, enjoy the rest of this very blessed day. It is enriched with blessings for you to open up and enjoy. And I'm knowing that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of today. And I'm going to go get my gift now, and we're going to bless our gifts that we're going to pass on for the good of many, many others. And we are going to give thanks for divine prosperity in our minds, in our bodies, in our hearts, in our souls, and in the great body of all of our affairs. We're grateful for every good that we experience. And when you ponder on what that good is, it's enormous. So thank you for this too, for sharing the fruits of your labor and so on. We so appreciate it. Know that, we really do. We don't take any good thing for granted, ever. And so we're united very especially in this way, as we say. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. We rejoice in the sharing of our good, and we release our gift with love, knowing that it is multiplied for those who receive and for those who give. And so it is. So have a splendid day, my dear ones. Stay tuned in. Please join us in virtual community. It's a wonderful way for us to feel connected, and we really do feel connected. And so I will love you and leave you now with the understanding that you're the one we've all been waiting for, and we're so grateful to you for all your love and for all your goodness and for all your kindness in this world. The world needs you now like it has never needed you before, and I know we're all going to measure up to that invitation. And so I will leave you with the music and with the signage that you might want to be aware of. Have a very blessed day. I know you have blessed mine. So take good care of yourselves and continue to be cautious, continue to follow protocols, continue to self-care, and know that everybody else is doing likewise. See you later. Bye for now.